So, my name is Griffith Samsara, and I'm a writer, and I'm desperately trying to get my books published. Um, just a little backstory on me. Cheers. You see, I've struggled for about 7 years to write a novel. I finished it. It is complete. I've rewritten, re-edited, uh, redone everything multiple times, and it is 1,000 plus pages mostly, right? And after 7 years of hard work, you know, I thought that the publishing aspect of it would be way easier than writing the damn thing, but as it turns out, getting the thing published, traditionally with a publishing house and an agent and an editor and what have you, that's just I don't know. It's been I don't know 7 8 months of me querying, and I've gotten only rejections, and that's depressing. That's depressing to me because I know that my novel is good. It's not only good. It is. I would have to say that it is. It is a. I would say that my novel is a special kind of monster, and maybe that is why, or partly the reason why, it has been rejected. So let's call it mercilessly, right? But here I am. I have a complete novel. I started out as a complete novice. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. A debutante, an amateur. Um, and it took me 7 years. And let me tell you, throughout this journey of writing a big ass novel, 1,000 plus pages, uh, I just questioned over and over again why this thing had to happen. Why am I writing this? Who's gonna read this? Nobody was gonna wants to read this. Nobody's gonna publish it. Everybody's gonna trash it. It won't sell a single copy, etc. And I had moments when I took breaks, like a month or two, when I just couldn't write because it was just hard. It was just depressing, right? But I finished the damn thing, and like I said, I have gotten just 99.9% rejections, which is what's the word I'm looking for? It is expected. A debutante writer. Nobody's gonna publish your ass unless you're famous or I don't know. You're gonna sell, right? The content really doesn't matter most of the time. So I don't know how many agents I queried. I think it was about between 100 and 200, something like that. I don't know, maybe 150, maybe less, maybe a bit more. I don't remember the correct number, right? But I queried a lot of editors and agents and publishing houses. Writers with experience or people in the industry might say that I went too far. I queried too many people, but I did that because I knew that I would get a lot of rejections. And I didn't have time to wait, for certain agencies or publishing houses to answer in 2 months. So that's what I did, and I got a lot of rejections. So all of these, what was it, 100 and plus agents, literary agents, publishing houses. Out of all of those that I queried, only one agent wrote me back and said, you know what, a novel with 1,000 and plus pages. I think it is 1,030 something. I'm not really sure. But he said, a big ass novel like that, there's no market, there's no guarantee. I don't think it can hold me my interest for that long. But he said, let me read the damn thing, right? So I said, oh, goody goody. And I sent him like the first uh, 3 chapters. And, like in 24 hours, he responded with, I've read the first couple of pages and I'm not interested. Sorry, see ya. And, that was that. So I got only, at least someone out of 150 people, just wanted to read a couple pages. That was big for me, right? It meant a lot for me, but a rejection is a rejection, and nobody asked to read it afterwards. It didn't happen again, right? So it's been like 7, 8, or 9 months since I started querying, and it's been bad luck bears all around. Just the common stereotypical robotic response from all of these agents and publishing houses. They were the same. We thank you for sending us your manuscript, but for the time being, we're not looking for your work, your type of work. Thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck, yada yada. And, that's about it. A robotic, uh, just, copy and paste answer, basically. You and a lot of them, they just don't have the time or the interest or the ambition or the love for their craft to maybe look at a couple of pages and see that it's still rough in the beginning, but somewhere deep inside there is a diamond, right? They don't have that time, and it's a sad thing because I am certain that a lot of these young aspiring writers like myself, they don't get no chances, you know. And not just writers, but artists in general. Even thinkers, painters, artists, musicians, sculptors, whatever, what have you. Poets. A lot of young, talented people. They just don't have a chance to get picked up by this. Let's call it a conglomerate of experienced people to help him or her along the way so he or she can develop the craft and make it perfect it, master it, right? And it's a sad thing. uh, I didn't have any supporters. When I told people that I was writing a novel, that I was thinking about being a writer, they just scoffed and laughed and snickered and well, you think you can be a writer, bruh? And all that nonsense, right? And I know that a lot of people are facing this, mockery for no reason whatsoever by people who, they don't even read, but they're gonna make fun of you because you have, a dream or whatever, right? But that has been my journey into getting the thing published, which for the moment is a failure, right? Uh, I've made, some writers or a lot of them might say that I made a mistake, that I went directly to the novel when I should have stuck to, maybe short stories or novellas or, something shorter, right? I mean, it is custom in the publishing industry. If you're a nobody and you have a big book, you're not gonna get it published. No way, no how, no way, boy. And unless you're somebody, right? And that's what happened to me. And after I finished the damn thing after 7 years, 1,000 plus pages, I remembered that I watched a Ray Bradbury video where he gave advice to aspiring writers, right? And he said, you know what? The number one thing that beginning writers should never do, and he emphasized this, what you should never do as an aspiring writer is to write a big novel. You should stick to short stories, novellas. And I remember that, and I snickered. I laughed a bit because I knew that he was right. I knew that he was absolutely correct. Because in his view, I have wasted a lot of time, 7 years, um, putting this thing together when I should have just written, short stories, blah blah blah, and maybe I would have gotten noticed, and I might have sold something, and then I would have had followers, and I would have gained some traction, a reputation, and but here's the thing. Here's the thing with a few writers, right? There are some writers who can write about anything at any time in any place. It doesn't matter to them. They can write about anything. They are prolific. They write the thing and they forget it. They toss it out the window. They get it published. They sell it and they make some money and they move on, right? And not to throw a shade on these people because they have created masterpieces, but at the same time, because they're so prolific, so eager to create massive amounts of content. They've also published a lot of what should we call? I don't want to say garbage, but let's call it lackluster work, subpar work, and some of these prolific writers that I'm thinking about right now. I'm not gonna mention any names, but they're top tier writers, but they have a few gems, a few masterpieces, and then to the side they have a little hill of second rate, subpar work, right? And whatever, they still made it, right? Uh, but that's one category, right? But then you have a second category of writers. Now, these are the writers who take their time, who slowly develop their story, their narrative, their plot lines, their characters. The characters grow uh, along with the writer. They mature along with the writer. They begin when the story begins. They are at one level, and as the story progresses, the characters develop, for the best or for the worst, right? And those, to me, are the best books, the best stories, when you can actually sense this this maturation process where you begin with these characters and they're kind of immature, juvenile, and slowly but surely things happen, and they have to make changes in their life, in their thinking, in their perceptions. They have to make tough decisions, and those are the kind of books that I think personally that they withstand the test of time, right? And I think I am one of those writers who just had had to put this story on paper. I just had to. You know, I doubted myself for a long time because I watched that video with Ray Bradbury and other writers' advice, and they all said, if you're a beginning writer, don't write, don't tackle the novel. You're not ready. And of course, now I have to admit it, I wasn't ready to tackle this behemoth of a novel. And it took me a while to get into a rhythm, right? I struggled for a bit, but after, I don't know, 2, 3 years, I got something, a momentum, a tempo, something developed. I don't want to call it an artistry, but a craft started to flourish, right? So, despite all odds, something told me. No, I know what told me. The story itself, the characters told me in my head. They told me that they wanted out. They wanted out. They had to explode on the page, and I had to do it. Okay, I had to do it. Before I started writing this novel, which is done now, I actually attempted to write another novel. And after a couple of pages, I realized I wasn't ready for it. It was too much. So I I put that to the side and I started writing this one. Because it kept coming back to me. It kept coming back to me. These characters, especially the protagonist, he was on my mind all the time, like speaking to me, screaming to me, tell this story, tell this story. I'm gonna do some things here. You better pay attention, boy. So that's how this novel of mine, uh, began. And I had to put it down on paper, you know, and it was hard work. I didn't know what I was doing half the time. I was doubting myself. I was questioning whether anybody was going to read this or anybody is going to buy this. And, here I am today, half a year or 8 months after I was done with the thing, the complete novel, and, I'm still struggling to get it published traditionally, through a publishing house. So then, after so many rejections, I just, said, what, nobody's gonna publish this thing because it's so colossal. At the same time, it tackles certain subjects that are, let's call it controversial or scandalous. The protagonist, he ain't a good guy. He ain't a good fella, right? He a bad man, right? So I thought, what? I'm gonna publish it myself, right? And I had to do some research on this, which was, of course, a bit depressing, a bit discouraging because, after 7 years, I was like, please somebody pick this up and publish it because I don't want to go through yet another, more work, labor, do the research, get proofreaders, all of that. It was just too much for me. So I took a break, right? I took a break from that novel, and after a vacation, I actually came back and did the research, and I said, you know what? Publishing such a big ass novel will require more cuts, more editing, less pages, a tighter script, if you would. It has to be polished one more time before I actually publish it. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put this, my first novel, on the shelf because that's my baby. You know, the first novel to any writer, it's his or her baby. Okay, you want it treated, you know, gentle, special. Because it is our baby. That first novel, with all of its faults, with all of its warts, it's still our first baby in a way. That first novel, and I said, you know what, I want this baby of mine to be treated accordingly as it deserves. So I'm gonna write a shorter novel, you know, tops 200 pages, tops, right? And I started writing it, and I have to say, after a couple of months, I finished the thing. I still have to make the final cuts, but the essentially the thing is done. I have to do some polishing here and there, and of course the formatting, and adding some stuff, uh, removing some stuff. I'll see how it goes, but essentially I have written my second novel. It'll be, I don't know, maybe 170 pages, right? uh, as an experiment to see how it will do, if I publish it myself, probably on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or whatever. But it's still a serious novel, but it is way shorter. It tackles a different subject matter. It is a bit more light. It is more fun. There's not that much darkness as in my debut novel, but it is I would say a perfect balance of dark humor and deeper subtle meanings, strewn in between, right? uh, and I hope it does well, and I'm hoping to establish a I wouldn't say following, or some traction, maybe some support, right? So I'm making videos, book reviews. I'm gonna do some videos about writing advice, reading advice, just to test the waters, right? To get this thing going, right? Because I am serious about my writing and serious about literature in general. And, what prompted me to do this was simply because I had no chance of getting the damn thing published after working on it for 7 years, right? That blew my mind. I was like, nobody, except one, nobody wanted to even read the damn thing, right? So that was discouraging for me. But here I am. I got back up after a bit of depression, and I got back on the horse. I wrote another novel, way shorter. I'm hoping that I can, advertise it here when it's actually done. But I'm just gonna say that it is about what I like to call a social disease or a social malady, which is this cancer that has come to the forefront in society, and of course I mean this meme, this meme worship, this adoration for entertainment's sake. You know what I'm talking about? The memery, the just consuming entertainment of the lowest caliber to I don't know, to keep away the dark thoughts, if you would, like a drug. It has come to such a degree now that entertainment, movies, TV shows, anything on the net today, it is a meme, and I don't know what to say about it. These trends, these challenges, these TikToks, that gets so much traction. You know, I call it a social disease. I call it a malady because that's what it is. It is a an affliction of the mind that I cannot explain. It is inexplicable to me. And of course, you have the anime and manga, and of course, you have the comic book. You know, parasites and all of these people that there's nothing wrong with any of these examples that I'm mentioning right now. But what I'm trying to get at is that all of these are fine the way they are, but they have been taken so seriously now that it has eclipsed pretty much everything else, with a few exceptions here and there, where even horrific, serious events in the world, tragic events, even those events are, turned into a meme nowadays. They're even casualties and devastation, and somebody out there behind a keyboard is gonna make a meme out of it somehow. A compilation video about I don't know what, and I find that disgusting, honestly. And I've written this book about it, uh, which is about this guy, a so-called journalist, going to this. He is going to a sort of Comic Con type convention, but in the book it is the greatest convention in the world. Kind of like Comic Con, and all hell breaks loose. Madness ensues. The book is called 7 Days to Madness for a reason, and he is faced with all of these aspects of society that have been taken overboard, that have been escalated and aggrandized to such a degree that it's madness. It's pure madness. There is no other way to say it, right? And I don't have any problems with people and what they do in the privacy of their own home. That's not the issue here. My problem is that they're taking this nonsense, they're taking it in public, they're filming it, and most of all, they are proud in their own, loathing, decadence, and depravity, and this degradation and regression and degeneration of everything that makes mankind or humankind great, right? The furries and everything else. It's just too much for somebody like me. Maybe I'm a bit old for that. I don't really understand what's going on. Uh, I can't relate to this constant, bombardment and the interest of people constantly being uh, given to these products of entertainment. I've got some comics, I love some movies, some music, but I don't give a fuck about memes. I don't give a fuck about conventions and figurine collections and whatever. I don't care about memes, and I think that it has reached a point where you know where actual culture has been replaced with, let's call it as it is. It is dumbness. It is unconsciousness, unconscientiousness, and a total lack of awareness, especially self-awareness, where people out here, a lot of them are just, they're just pathetic to look at. Ridiculous, preposterous, how they behave in public. And I had to write about it. Yet again, something came over me, and the story had to be written. And I think I did a pretty good job with with mentioning the majority of the problems that we face today because of entertainment, because of people who uh, seek to be entertained and amused, 24/7. They can't drop their device for 5 seconds and they have to bring it everywhere and they have to be fingering the damn thing all the time, and it's, we're doomed. Okay, we're doomed, and I had to write about it. The book is called 7 Days to Madness, and it tackles all of these subjects, and it allows for every person to speak his or her point of view, but essentially it's still a sort of, pointing the finger and criticizing, the derangement that's happening today, with humor, dark humor. There's insanity to be had, there's madness to be had, there's a mix of everything in this book, and I hope it does well. I hope I get it published, and I hope, I can gain some traction to actually sell the damn thing, and whatever, right? But anyway, uh, that was my writing uh, journey and my attempt to publish my first novel, which ended in failure for the moment. Hopefully, I will manage to finally publish the damn thing because I am proud of it. It took a lot of time, a lot of effort. A lot of times I just wanted to give up and just, do something else. And sometimes I did, but I always came back, you know. And, I think it was Umberto Eco who said, prolific writers, they just write whatever comes to mind with no intention behind it. No real love for the work, right? And he said, with a novel, you have to let it breathe for a while. You gotta write a bit, and then you gotta put it away for a while, and you have to let it, like dough with yeast. It has to grow and expand on its own. It matures, and then you're gonna come back, and then you're gonna knead it a little bit, and then you're gonna write a little bit, and then you're gonna put it aside. That I think that's what makes a great novel. That it is constantly attacked with this desire to make it better, to perfect it, to polish it, right? Whereas, some prolific writers, they just pump out, a novel every year, right? And whatever, they have their audience, each to his own. But I feel like Echo said, you have to take that time and you have to polish it as best you can. I think that's what makes a novel so powerful even today, because it has more than just, you know a novel is more than just a little thought. I'm gonna write about this, whoop, I'm done. A real novel has a history, has a lot of nightmares. It has a lot of sleepless nights behind it. There are a lot of bricks that make up a novel. And you can say whatever you want, but a writer that just pumps out book after book, year after year, you know it doesn't leave a lot of it doesn't leave an impression on the readers, with few exceptions. Of course, there are geniuses out there that just can't do it for some reason. They were born this way and they worked at it, of course, but most of us were not like that. We're not geniuses, right? So we have to clumsily, awkwardly, step on our own toes to, write a damn novel, right? Uh, and this brings me to, the final segment of this video regarding publishing. You know, from all these publishing houses and agents that I queried, they all said that they're not looking for my type of story, right? My type of book. And so I actually went to their websites to check out what they're publishing so I can kind of, do some research on the market, demand and supply, to find out what's, you know, in circulation right now. And, for the most part, with few exceptions, of course, for the most part, what I saw was a lot of, a lot of banality, a lot of mediocrity, a lot of ordinary average books with ordinary average content. And this is just my opinion, but I didn't see anything phenomenal. A novel should be catastrophic to a reader, right? When somebody reads your book, he or she should be disgusted, should be a little bit entertained, should be frightened, should be horrified, should be laughing, should be crying, should be, all of these emotions, right? There's more to a book than just simple entertainment, right? The same with a good, great movie. There's more to a superb movie than just entertainment and action scenes and, thrilling chases, right? But that's what I saw in the market a couple of months ago. There wasn't any uh, special book, let's call it. There wasn't a special book being published, right? And I've checked recently. There's still nothing on the market that sticks out to me. So this is my little dialogue with you, literary agents and publishing houses and people who are versed in the industry of publishing literature. What are you people looking for, right? What are you looking for? Because I don't see anything spectacular on the market right now. And some of you, I might have queried a couple of months ago, and you said that you don't need a book like mine because for whatever reason, you put it politely, and I thank you for that. But you didn't say why my book isn't, uh, let's call it, worthy of being published, right? Uh, I don't get it. Sometimes you have to take a chance. Sometimes you have to gamble and take risks, and you might be rewarded, but you might not be rewarded. But at least you took a chance in life. Not everything is about being safe, being secure, being comfortable, making a dime out of everything, you see. Because that takes all the essence or the flavor of life, of art, of books, right? Sometimes you have to take chances. You have to go blind in the dark, and maybe you will succeed. I took a chance. I took a gamble. For 7 years, I did nothing but write. And, in that time, I could have done something else. I could have lived my life. I could have gotten a better job. I could have done, you know, things to improve my welfare, right? But no, I had to write the book because I am a writer, and the book had to be written. Okay, and a book that is written has to be published. End of story, right? So maybe this is my little uh, suggestion to you, um, literary agents and publishers. Take a fucking chance. Try something new. Don't be discouraged by a couple of bad pages in the beginning of a book. I can agree with, that one agent who said, your your first pages in your book were not that interesting. I can admit that because that's when I started out, you see, but I got better at it and I'm willing to make changes. But you see, most of the I'm not generalizing here, but a lot of you in the industry are not willing to make changes. You're not willing to take chances, okay? Because imagine this, imagine you're working at a publishing agency and you get a manuscript, right? That's, big like mine, and you're not really that impressed by it. The first couple of pages are not that interesting. They do not grip you because you have your own preferences as an individual, right? So what happens? You know, and I'm not talking with arrogance here. I'm just saying, what if you get a manuscript that's a diamond in the rough, right? So it could be the next bestseller, the best, a masterpiece, right? And you reject it and send it back just because the first couple of pages were just underwhelming for you, and you kick it away, where when you should have just read on for a couple of pages more, and maybe you would have resonated with something, okay? Because these colossal novels, they just cannot start with something, uh, thrilling and exciting and uh, you know, uh, you what should I call it? Entertaining. See, a novel takes its time. You have to understand where you are right now, and as you read along, the story gets better and better. That is the purpose of books. You see, that is the definition of a story. You do not begin a story with the end and you slowly go to the beginning. That's fucking lame. You see, you keep the reader hooked chapter by chapter by amplifying the stakes with each chapter. Imagine if you read a book and every chapter is just boom, boom, boom. There's not a single moment of, looking at the clouds or just breathing in and out, or just, I don't know, being calm, or just thinking about things. It has to be crazy every single paragraph, or I don't know, the reader might fall asleep or something, right? That's not how books are. Books are like a person, you know. At the beginning, they start, thin, naive, awkward, with an amateur kind of flair to it. But as you as you continue reading, it matures. It gains some complexity and sophistication, just like a normal person growing up and maturing. That's what a book is. Uh, a book is a mirror image of a human being. You see, it has a beginning, a middle, and end, and it has good parts and it has bad parts and mistakes and successes and so on. You see, so maybe you should, when you get a manuscript, please keep on reading for the sake of those poor writers who just, maybe they just didn't know how to start a novel. But let me tell you, I'm damn sure that as you keep reading, it keeps getting better. So maybe you should, stick around for a while, read a couple of more pages, and give some good advice to that poor writer. Don't leave him in the dark, you see, because I was there and I was young. I started writing when I was 23, right? Now I'm 30, right? 7 years of my life, and I don't know what this publishing industry is doing right now, because I don't see no fucking masterpieces being published. And another thing, listen. I'm not a hater, but if something like, Twilight, 50 Shades, and others were published, were bestsellers, were made into blockbuster movies, and everybody knows that they're, let's call it, subpar literature at best, lame ass stories, lame ass characters, but they were published probably by people who knew what they're doing, and they made a lot of money. So I I'm just gonna say that there is no excuse for you to reject any manuscript that comes your way because the fact that those types of books were published and they were so successful, you know, it tells me that pretty much you have to publish everything because you've lowered the standard so low that, you know, pretty much anyone can publish anything and it might be a success. So there is no reason for you to reject somebody's manuscript. Not mine, but I'm talking about these young writers out here who are trying to get something done and they're just met with, you know, these cliche answers. We're not looking for this at the time. See ya, try again. I hope you're lucky. We wish you the best. You see, nobody wants to hear that, bro. How about you? Even if you're gonna reject somebody's manuscript, how about you give some constructive criticism? All right, because you know I understand that my book has faults, but see, nobody gave me any criticism because they didn't even look at the damn thing. You see, because they don't have time. You see, they're so busy publishing garbage. Not all the time, not all of them, but a big chunk of them. You see, and you know, this has been my journey trying to get this book published. You know, querying. I might have to publish myself on Amazon or whatever. And I hope you will stick around and maybe support me, you know, because I feel like I bring something to the table that isn't, you know, average, ordinary. You know, I feel that what I bring to the table is more than just entertainment for the sake of entertainment. You see, there's more to it than that. You see, and this is another thing. I think it was Stephen King who said, and this depressed me, by the way. A couple of years ago, I stumbled upon a video with Stephen King, and he said, you know, he is just an entertainer, and his books are, you know, meant for entertaining. The purpose of his books is entertainment. That's all, and I don't agree with that at all. You see, I'm somebody, and maybe there's something wrong with me. I may be abnormal, but I don't want to be entertained. I want something more. I want something that shakes me to the core. You know, and I understand entertainment. I want to be, you know, a little bit tickled here and there by amusing things, but essentially I'm searching for something serious, for something that could catch me off guard, you see, and point the finger at me and say, "How you didn't expect this, did you? You thought this was just, you know, entertainment. Guess what? Right? That's the type of book that I am trying to publish, and those are the types of books that I like to read. You know, not just entertainment. You see, and this little book that I'm trying to publish now, 7 Days to Madness, is all about the madness of entertainment, where people have accepted pretty much everything, no matter how low the standard or the quality is, as you know, it's like a drug. It's like a drug. They have to keep on watching Netflix. They have to keep on binging TV shows and all of that, and be on social media. You see, this is madness we're talking about here, and that's what I've written about, and that's what I'm trying to publish. You know. And of course, there is a bit of entertainment. You can escape it, but it is kept at a minimum. You see, the best books, they are like a mirror to society, both a mirror to individuals, but to collectives as well, and various institutions and customs, traditions, beliefs, and so on. You see, those are the books that will withstand the test of time. You see, entertainment goes away. It is pushed to the forefront. It is consumed, and that it is thrown in the trash. You see, but you know these classic books, they've been around here for a reason. You see, because they are not entertainment. You see, Dostoevsky isn't entertainment. You see, what else? You know, Fight Club. despite being pop culture in a way, that book, it's not entertainment. You see, it has deeper messages, deeper meanings. It has subtleties. It has both overt and covert, uh, suggestions, propositions, and so on. You see, that book is not just a piece of pop culture. You see, that book is a classic for a reason because it has knowledge there. It has a certain point of view that you wouldn't find on some lame ass TV show or maybe in a book like 50 Shades or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. So for now, this has been my publishing journey, querying journey. I'll probably promote my book when it comes out on this channel, and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna try to make it as, how should I say this, as special as possible in its presentation, where it isn't just you know uh, blank white pages and text. I'm gonna try to make it a bit more personal, a bit more unique in certain ways. I might put, if it works well, I might put, some sketches. I was thinking about putting a little sketch on every chapter, to kind of summarize what's really going on in the chapter. You see, in a little sketch. But who knows? We'll see. Hopefully, you will be here to witness. Let's call it my little venture in the publishing world. I take writing and books very seriously. You see, because they are not just entertainment, and I want to put my work out there. You see, and hopefully, if I succeed, and I will have a physical book in my hand to show you, maybe some of you might like it. Who knows? But until then, I'm gonna do other videos. Book reviews, talking about society. This sick ass society we're living in right now. Because I like writing about that, about these questionable, suspicious trends in human behavior, as well as in the news media, the web, that seem to not be questioned or criticized, you know, as often as I would like. You see, most people, they don't have a problem with what's going on right now for some reason, because they have their Netflix, because they have their video games, and most of all because they have their memes, and they watch it while eating popcorn, which is it is a tragedy, and I like to write about that, and I like to point them out like a mirror. You see, the best writers, they have always pointed out the flaws of a society, the flaws of human beings. They have captured, they have immortalized, a certain generation with all of its flaws, right? And I think I have done that too. I have managed to capture, this malady. I call it a disease that's been going on here for more than a decade, where people just, I don't know, people just, I don't, they're walking around like they're zombies, bro. Like they are asleep. They're sleepwalkers. You see, because it's too much for them to actually face reality and question what's really going on here. People don't want to question um, the world they're living in, because for the moment they are comfortable with ignorance and indifference. And I like to write about those things, and I like to put them on the forefront. You see, because I don't like to sugarcoat anything. You see, um, those are the kind of books that I like to write, and the kinds of books that I like to read, and hopefully, we can share that. Maybe, because I know that I'm not the only one that's looking outside his window right now and just shaking his head like, what the fuck's going on here, bro? The bar of standards, of quality, of excellence, or just self awareness, or even being embarrassed of your behavior has been lowered to such a degree that people, they don't have a problem with anything right now. They some of them are behaving like, I don't know,